The Chargers are 2-0, 2 division games on the road, 2 wins, and now they're finally back home. Week 3, Broncos coming to SoFi, and here's the thing. If the Chargers win this one, they're 3-0. Do you know the last time that happened? You've got to go all the way back to 1979. That's the only time in franchise history they've started a season with 3 straight wins. And the regular season results were 12-4. So yeah, this is more than just a regular September game. It's a chance to rewrite history, to grab early control of the AFC West. Now here's the big question. Can they do it? Can the Chargers take down Denver and keep this run alive? I've gone through the film, the numbers, the matchups, and I think there's a clear formula. Let's break it down. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. First, start with Denver's quarterback Bo Nix. Right now, he's at the bottom of the league in terms of efficiency. You watch the Tennessee game, and it tells you everything. No Mack needed. You don't even need an elite pass rush. Nix was holding on to the ball, forcing throws, making rookie mistakes. And technically, he's not a rookie anymore, but that's what it looked like. He's thrown 3 interceptions already, had several more passes broken up, and he's only got 2 big-time throws compared to 6 turnover-worthy plays. That's not good enough. So, the Chargers know what they need to do. They don't have Mack out there. He's on IR, but Jesse Minter doesn't need one superstar. His defense is built around disguise, rotation, and coverage. Look at last week against Geno Smith. 3 picks, multiple batted balls, and a quarterback who looked lost once his first read wasn't there. That's what Minter does. He forces quarterbacks to play left-handed. And with Bo Nix, that's exactly how you get him into trouble. Now, what does Denver have around him? Courtland Sutton is the guy. Big body, reliable hands, wins at the catch point. But he's going to see attention all game long. The Chargers will tilt coverage his way and say, fine, beat us with Troy Franklin or Marvin Mims. Franklin has flashed some potential. Mims has speed. But neither of those guys has shown they can carry a game. Evan Engram is questionable and hasn't been healthy. J.K. Dobbins, he'll get his carries, maybe grind out 60 to 70 yards. But this isn't a run game that scares you. R.J. Harvey hasn't looked good, and that's disappointing because a lot of people liked him coming out of UCF, but he hasn't been the answer. And that's where Denver's issues stack up. They've got a strong offensive line, but if the backs aren't finding holes, if the receivers aren't separating, then all the protection in the world doesn't help. Nix ends up holding the ball, trying to extend plays, and that's where the turnovers happen. The Chargers' job is clear. Keep him in the pocket, don't let him escape, and force him to process against disguised coverage. Now, let's flip it. Denver's defense is good, very good. Their secondary is one of the best in football. Patrick Surtain is the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. Riley Moss has come into his own. Through 2 games, they've given up only 368 passing yards. You don't just throw on these guys without a plan. The matchup I keep coming back to is Chargers wide receivers against Denver's defensive backs. This is strength on strength. The Chargers have a much deeper receiver room than last season. Keenan Allen's back. Quentin Johnston has finally started to look like the player they drafted him to be. Ladd McConkey is already carving out a role as a rookie. Trey Harris is another weapon in the rotation. They've been averaging 270 yards per game through the air, 3rd in the league. That's production, but now they face the toughest test yet. So what's the answer? You don't go one-on-one against Surtain all game and expect to win, you go after the linebackers. That's where Denver's been vulnerable. Justin Strnad and Alex Singleton have given up 10 catches for 168 yards on 13 targets. That's the soft spot. You stress the middle of the field, force those guys into coverage, and Herbert will have opportunities. That's where Keenan Allen feasts. That's where play action creates windows for Johnston or McConkey. But here's the catch. You need time. Denver blitzes more than anyone, over 60% of the time in Week 2. Against Daniel Jones, they lived in the backfield. Against Cam Ward in Week 1, over half his dropbacks were pressured. That's the challenge. Because the Chargers' tackles, Slater and Pipkins, have been excellent, but the interior? That's where the trust isn't there yet. Zion Johnson, Bradley Bozeman, and that rotation haven't consistently opened lanes or held up against pressure. If Denver brings heat straight up the gut, Herbert's going to be under siege. And that brings me to the running game. The Chargers don't need to dominate, but they do need balance. 4 yards a carry, enough to force Denver to respect the run. Enough to keep them out of those all-out blitz looks. Because when Herbert works off play action, he's deadly. That's where this offense is at its best. 2 tight end sets. Heavy looks, Then a bootleg or a shot down the seam. That's when defenses guess wrong. That's when Herbert flips the game. Now, let's talk about the pass rush on the other side. 4 sacks in 2 games, none from the edge group. That's concerning. Tuli Tuipulotu has been active. Tackles, hits, deflections, but he hasn't finished with a sack yet. And this week, he drew Mike McGlinchey and Garrett Bowles. Those two have lost just 1 rep in pass protection all year. That's a tough matchup. So, the Chargers need production by the committee. Bud Dupree, Caleb Murphy, Kyle Kennard, all of them need to contribute. And honestly, it's not just about sacks. It's about collapsing pockets, forcing Nix to reset, and letting the secondary do the rest. Now, let me zoom out a little, because games like this aren't just about matchups. They're about identity. And if you've watched Harbaugh coach teams, you know what that means. It's physical football. Line of scrimmage first, running the ball even when it doesn't look pretty. And that's where I think the Chargers' growth is most interesting. Last season, they didn't trust their offensive line. They didn't lean into the run game the way they wanted to. This season, even though the production hasn't popped up yet, the commitment is there. You can see it in the way they're calling plays. They're setting up play action. They're leaning on heavy formations. That's culture. That's Harbaugh. Now, here's another angle. Turnover margin. People sometimes brush this off, but it wins game. The Chargers are +2 through 2 weeks. Denver is -3. That's a 5 turnover swing in just 2 games. You go back and look at close contests, 1-score finishes, and more often than not, turnover differential is the deciding stat. Denver has been 2-7 in 1-score games since last year. That's a pattern. That's not random. That's who they've been. The Chargers, meanwhile, are 5-4 in that span. Better, not perfect, but steadier. That matters in a game like this. So how do I see this playing out? Early on, Denver's going to make things ugly. They'll blitz. They'll hit Herbert. They'll test that interior line. Maybe the Chargers go 3 and out once or twice. That's fine. Weather the storm. Because as the game goes on, Herbert will find those holes in the middle of the field. Keenan Allen on a dig, McConkey on a crossing route, Johnston on the back shoulder. And once the Broncos have to respect that, the run game opens up. Even 4 yards at a time makes a difference. On the other side, Nix will get some completions early. Quick outs, slants, maybe a play-action shot to Sutton, but once the Chargers' defense settles in, once they start disguising looks and rotating coverages, Nix will press. He'll hold onto the ball, and that's where the mistakes happen. An interception late, maybe a strip sack. If Tuipulotu finally breaks through, that's the moment the Chargers put the game away. And let's not forget situational football. 3rd downs, red zone, 2-minute drives. That's where teams separate. Right now, Denver's defense is leading the league in 3rd down stops. Opponents are converting less than 30%. That's elite. But the Chargers' offense has been in the top 10 in conversion rate, nearly 46%. That's a collision course right there. And it tells you Sunday might come down to which side wins 3rd down. Herbert has the weapons. Denver has the coverage. That's the battle I'll be watching most.